Hi, I'm Matt Little. I'm the Director of Counseling and Education at Empowering Awareness.Asia, and I'm a proud sponsor of this podcast.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Firstly, thank you very much for giving me opportunity to interview you for my podcast.
Sure, that's a pleasure. No problem.
I have gone through your profile. I can see you're doing amazing work and making things happen. So I thought to tell about you and your work and how you're being an inspiration to the world. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So before talking about you, can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Yes. So my name is Olivier Gomez. People call me OG. I'm located in France. My background is about 20 years of experience working for very large corporation and leading transformation and technology projects. My specialty is to deploy automation and AI technology. So I've done that for many large clients around the world, across all geographies, all industries, a lot of Fortune 500 clients. So for about 4 years now, I am running my own company called IAC, and we are specialized in helping uh, our clients identify opportunity to inject technology inside their environment to achieve efficiency and improvement. So that's what I do. In parallel of doing that, I am also I have a personal branding company, so I am an influencer. So I'm working with many brands to help them communicate the value of what they do. I am advising many startup to make sure that they are attacking the market correctly. That's what I do.
Great. So you're an entrepreneur now. So what you're doing and how this experience from taking the experience from the past. You worked in different projects and worked for different geographical areas. So putting all that in your company. So how is this?
Yes. So this is a very normal situation when you get old, like me. Uh, you very normally reach a point where you start wondering what the next step should be. And many people decide to exit the corporate world, decide to uh, build their own company, decide that they don't want to be an employee anymore. So this is very normal, but very few people are really prepared to uh, become an entrepreneur, to run your own company. Because people don't really understand that when you are as an employee inside a large company or even a small and medium business, you are very well protected from uh, a number of problems. You are sharing with your co-worker, with other employee. When you are an entrepreneur, you are basically accountable for everything from sales all the way to delivery, right? So it is very challenging to move from being an employee to becoming an entrepreneur. A lot of people are failing to transition. The average company um, will not survive more than 3 years. That's what we see around the world. So, but if you are really uh, focusing and you are really having the right discipline and you are really working a lot, um, what you are able to achieve is, really different from just being an employee. So the level of uh, gratification that you get from this is really amazing. And then, being in control of your own destiny, being able to drive the company in the direction that you want is also extremely amazing.
So what problems that you want to solve with your company?
Yeah, so I have been always, in a technical environment, surrounded with technical people talking about features and new products and what I call, the latest new shiny object. My focus is to actually help company navigate all those tools, all those technology, right? Because if you just take AI as an example, there's hundreds and thousands of products that are, in that AI ecosystem, and companies they are lost. There's so many products. When you also understand that many of those projects are not really successful, meaning that there's at least 50% of the AI project that are failing or that are not achieving a return on investment. My focus is to help those company navigate through that complexity, through that ecosystem, to ensure that there is actually an outcome, there is a return on investment. So focusing on the business case, the business side of the technology is what I do for my client. I make sure that they get return on the money they spend.
So you have been in technology from long time, involved in different kinds of projects and worked with different countries. So uh, what you have understood, when it comes to the business side of the technology?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So the first the first mistake that a lot of people are doing is that they fall in love with the technology, right? They love a technology. For example, they love Apple, or they love Microsoft, or and then, they stop thinking logically. They want to solve all the problem with the technology that they love. So not falling in love with the technology is absolutely important, right? You should not lose your logic. You should always apply, very clear criteria for the technology selection. And every time someone is falling in love with the technology, I can tell you that they will mess up with the project. So that's rule number one, right? Not falling in love. Rule number two, most of the problems that we see in technology project are not related to technology. They are related to the people around the technology. So very often when we do some technology project, we always, blame it on the technology. But very often the problem comes from not having the right people, not having the right skills. And even when you have the right skills, not having the right experience. So for example, if I have done 20 times a project, I know exactly what will happen and what can go wrong. I have the experience. If you have never done the project, even if you have the certification, you have all the technical knowledge, you are going to do all the mistakes because you have never done it before. So those are the two key things for people to remember. Don't fall in love with the technology, and remember that the number one reason for success is related to the people, not the technology.
So what is your take on AI?
Whoa, that's a very broad question. So right now, with any new technology, and this one is a big one because it's extremely uh, huge in terms of impact, in terms of disruption. Uh, you have always people who are afraid of the technology or who are pessimistic about the technology, and then you have people who are embracing it. My point here is this type of technology is here to stay. It will never go away. It's only going to get better and stronger. And when you look at, everywhere on social network and you watch some videos of, big tech company, you see how fast AI is evolving, AI is improving. So everyone that is trying to fight a revolution like this one will probably lose. One of the key things here that I want to highlight is humans are afraid that they will be replaced by AI. There's a lot of noise around, I'm going to lose my job and all these kind of things. The reality is human will be replaced by other human who are enabled, who are augmented by AI. So human without AI will always be less than human with AI. If you don't embrace the technology, you will most likely lose. You will most likely lose against people who are much more efficient, much more productive, much more knowledgeable because they are augmented by AI.
It's a great observation. So when come to the purpose of the company creation of yours, so in order to actually make get profit out of the investment, so how you're making that and how companies are getting benefit with your work?
Yes. So what is really important when we are working with companies and they are trying to leverage AI to be more competitive and to get all the benefit that we know about AI, the speed, the quality, the efficiency, and all of that. The first thing that we help company is to understand where and why they need AI. Okay, so the wrong approach is to get some tools and then to play with the tools, to do some pilot, to do some proof of concept, to basically play with the tool, to learn about the technology without really understanding why you are doing it. The right approach is to identify inside your company all the areas where the technology can help. So, for example, in a finance department, every month there will be some people creating some reports, and those reports are extremely boring to do, extremely, taking long hours, requiring a lot of copy and paste, requiring a lot of things that no one wants to do, that are not, frankly, designed for human. In the HR department, when you are hiring someone, there's a lot of paper to be done, through the onboarding process, so on and so forth. In every area of the company, there are processes, there are activities that are extremely repetitive, extremely mundane, extremely boring, that are sometimes also contributing to the attrition of the company because people don't want to do shitty job, so they are running away. Those are the things that you need to identify, right? So before jumping to selecting a tool, you got to understand clearly what you are trying to achieve and where you are trying to achieve it. And then from there, you will decide what tool you need. And why is this important? Because very often you don't need the most expensive tool. You don't need, the super expensive, license. You don't need that. You might need only an average tool, right? So what I tell my clients is maybe you don't need to buy a Ferrari, right? Maybe you don't need to buy a Lamborghini. Maybe all you need to buy is a Ford or a regular car, and that will do the job. And this is what is really important to ensure return on investment, is not to do the mistake of buying the Ferrari when you don't need it.
what are the main reasons companies are failing?
So that one, the one I just said, they select the wrong technology. They pay too much for technology. The other one, which is as I said before, they don't have the right people. So choosing the wrong technology, not having the right people, and by right people, again, I repeat, it's not that they are not skilled enough. It's that they don't have the experience. They have never done it before. Okay. The third reason why they would be failing is because they don't really know, as I said, where exactly they want to apply technology. So they are basically a bit lost. They are trying to have it deployed everywhere, and that's the wrong approach. And then there's many other issues that are also related, frankly, to the management of change. So the acceptance of the technology, having the right culture in the company to understand that technology is good news. Very often people consider the technology is bad news because it means that they will lose their job. If the leadership of the company is not spending time to explain why it's good news, I give you an example. You have a certain market value with your CV, with your resume. You have a certain market value, and maybe you're going to be paid X. If you are learning about all those technology as an employee, maybe your market value is going to double because suddenly you know everything about the latest technology and your employability is going to be better and your market value is being better. So if everyone understand in the company that they are going to win by embracing technology, then you're not going to have any pushback and you're going to have the right culture. So that's the fourth point.
So change is constant. How businesses uh, should be adopted?
How should business manage change? Is that the question?
Yes, how
Yes.
they have to do practices in order to be adopted.
Yes. So again, this is something that we see for a very long time. In my space, in the technology space, uh, we call that technical debt. It's when your technology is so behind, when you have so much legacy in your environment that you are not able to keep up with the latest and greatest because you are spending so much energy fixing the old. If you take an average CIO in a company, 80% of his budget, so a CIO is the boss of IT, okay? 80% of his budget is spent to maintain the old stuff. And only 20% of his budget is spent to drive and deploy innovation. And that's a big problem. So when companies are trying to manage change, they have to have that in mind, right? That the number one issue with handling the new is actually to be able to clean up the old. That's why if you are a startup and you are fully digital and you start greenfield, you don't have any legacy, it's going to be way easier for you to manage the change and to adopt the new versus you are very old, 100 years old, big company, full of legacy. It's going to be extremely difficult for you to handle the new because you have all that old stuff to manage.
So how do you define technology evolution?
How do I define technology evolution? So again, to me, what is really important to understand when we are looking at all those new technology that are being released all over the place, all the time, across all industries, is to really take a step back here and minimize the importance of technology evolution. And let me explain. While it is, as I said, it is extremely critical to be able to evolve, to be able to augment yourself with the latest technology. it is even more important to focus on the non-technology part of the evolution. Okay, because again, today there's a tool, tomorrow there's another tool, after tomorrow there's yet another tool. If you take the example of Gen AI, I don't know, there's probably like in 6 months, I've seen maybe 500 different LLMs all over the place. This is technology evolution, but the goal, the objective of your evolution needs to be decorrelated from the technology, from the tool. So for me, technology evolution is almost like a noise for the business, a noise for a personal development. You need to learn about what you are trying to achieve as a business, what you are trying to become as an individual, and you need to, stop trying to follow every little, frankly, this LLM or that LLM, whether you are using ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or Grok or DeepSeek, it's all the same. Yes, there is some minor differences, but it's all going to be the same. The real question is, why do you want to use Gen AI and what are you trying to achieve? How does that improve yourself? So to me, the technology evolution is not what is important. What is important is the evolution of your business and the evolution of yourself as an individual. How do you augment yourself? If you try to follow too much, you're going to get lost. You're going to spend far too much energy in tracking everything, and you're not going to have enough energy to focus on what's important. What's important is, what are you trying to achieve? What is the expected outcome? What's the result you are looking for? And if you are trying to, I don't know, write a book and you want to use Gen AI to help you write a book, frankly, whether you are using this tool or that tool, it's going to be about the same. Right? The real question is, what book are you trying to write? What's the idea behind the book? Not really what tool you are using to write the book. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. So what qualities that actually helps a company to be successful constantly?
Yeah, so there's the typical issue that many failing company have uh, across all the businesses, which is to become complacent. So if you are doing something and it works, and then you start, becoming relaxed, you start becoming lazy, and then, the world is still evolving around you and yourself, you might end up in a situation where, without even really noticing it, you can become obsolete. There's so many examples of that, Kodak, the photography, Blockbuster, was totally killed by Netflix, and so on and so forth, right? So being complacent is probably, for me, the biggest mistake that all companies are doing, and which is moving them in a situation from leading the market to being killed by the market.
So how much time usually you take to make a company work properly?
Whoa. So that's where you get the typical answer, it depends, right? So we see some companies using technology, fully digital companies, are capable to become highly profitable in a couple of years. We call the company that are profitable super fast, they are typically bootstrapped, which means that they did not raise any money, and they are basically profitable from day one. Okay, those are we see many companies like that. Uh, in parallel to that, you have companies that require very heavy investment, a lot of R&D, that will become, profitable in many, many years. Take Amazon, for example. I think it took, I don't know, 10 years for Amazon to start making money, and yet see where Amazon is. So I would say it really depends on the business. It depends on the model. And it's not because you become profitable from the first day that you're going to be more successful than a company that takes 10 years to become profitable, right? Those are two different things. Success and profitability are two different things.
So how do you define success?
Oof. Uh, I think for a company, it's very simple. It's a company that is able to make money by delivering value to their client uh, in a sustainable way. Because if you do it for 6 months, then you're not as successful as an individual. I'm French, so we like in France to have what we call the work-life balance, which means that you got to work, but you also need to, uh, enjoy life. And for me, as an individual, my definition of success is being able to have, a job that you like, but at the same time, have a life outside your work.
So what you have learned in the technology before becoming an entrepreneur?
I've learned, and this is probably a message for technical people. Uh, I've learned that technology is not everything, that sales is extremely important, marketing is extremely important, HR is extremely important, and that not everything can be solved with technology, right? So you hear very often technical people considering that sales are useless, project managers are useless, and they think that the only thing that is important is to do the technology. Well, this is not true. When you are an entrepreneur and you look at it end to end, you realize that every activity is extremely important, and that ultimately the number one goal should be to sell. And in order to sell, you need to deliver value to the client, right? So again, I think this is important for the technical folks to realize that there's a lot of other roles and a lot of other functions that are absolutely critical for the success of the company outside technology.
How actually a company leader, a technology company leader should know what product or service will work in the market?
I don't think this is something that there's no answer to that. So sometimes the regular way of doing it is to do when you have an ID for a product, is to do what we call a PMF, a product market fit. So you develop a prototype and then you test it with a bunch of people and you see whether they like it or not. You develop a service, you test it with a bunch of people and you see whether they like it or not. And that is supposed to give you an idea of my product or my service will work on the market. But we have seen examples of people not doing it, not listening to the market, and actually telling the market what the market wants. So that means that for me there is no rules, right? There is absolutely no rules for that. You might build something and be sure that it will work and fail like crazy, and you might be building something and being sure that it will fail and be successful like crazy. So on that one, I don't think there's any rule.
So working in technology, working for the projects that belongs to different industries. So how that experience is helping you in this business that you have started?
Yeah, so understanding your customer is absolutely critical if you want to be able to bring value. So if you understand your customer, you understand what their problems are, then you are very well positioned to provide solution to their problem. So if you have the experience in a given industry, if you understand that industry, you understand because you've been working there, you understand all the problems that this industry has, then you are perfectly suited to provide solution to those problems. So I think this is why very often people from the same industry are the right people to come up with a fix. Although, as I said, there's always exception. There's always outsiders that come up with something that totally will revolutionize the industry. But if you know the industry, you have an edge because you know the problems. All you need to do is find solution to those problems.
So what do you say about present technology?
I'm sorry, I did not understand.
What do you say about present technology, uh, which is solving human problems, also creating problems?
Yeah, so this is something that is happening all the time. Every time there is a revolution, every time there is a technology revolution, there's always good and bad. And people are using, nuclear power as an example, so you can create energy with nuclear power. You can create a bomb as well. But it's not just this one. Look at electricity. Look at the engine. Uh, Everything that was really disruptive actually killed a number of jobs, but also created a number of jobs. So now there is a lot of study because we had multiple revolution, technology and industrial revolution in the past. When we are looking at AI, we always look at how many jobs will be killed and also how many jobs will be created. And then it's that one minus this one. And if this is positive, then it's good news. And we know already that with AI, the net number that is projected to be created is about 78 million jobs. So many jobs will die, but many, many more jobs will be created, right? So that's how you need to look at current technology. You need to look at, of course, some people will need to be reskilled. They will need to take a new job, but altogether, this is good news.
So you're working globally. You have seen market in different parts of the planet, and you're seeing technology how it is serving humanity. So what is your observation in coal? What do you say about the connection between humans and technology?
So here again, it's always the yin and the yang, right? So there's many great things that we see happening with technology, the impact on people. For example, how we can use technology to help kids at school, to make a better school. How we can use technology in the hospital. How we can use technology with, uh, population that are getting older and older, like Japan, for example. How can we help, those older people? So there's many great examples of using the technology to help humans, but there's also, unfortunately, many bad examples of, that on average we spend 6 hours a day in front of our screen. 6 hours a day. And we understand that this is not good. It has a cognitive impact. If you give a screen to a 1-year-old, it will have an impact on his IQ. So we also understand that when you don't have the right governance, the right behavior, you also are actually impacting negatively, humans with technology.
So how governments are working, different country governments are working when it comes to the when it comes to the technology industry.
Yes. Not so there's two layer here. There's a national layer. So different countries are, more or less advanced in building the governance, building the infrastructure to support the technology. And because they understand that, if you don't drive, if you don't invest, then you probably are going to lose the edge on that technology. So not all countries are at the same level. Typically, the richer country have more money to invest. So, for example, most of the compute, most of the cloud in the world is located in the US, right? This is giving them an edge on AI. Um, so we see that, right? We see companies that are injecting money. This is giving an edge to the country. At the same time, there are a number of global, so not at the country level, but at the global level, there's a number of global organizations that are making sure that all those technology are being correctly managed by all countries around the world, including the countries with maybe, less money. It is absolutely critical that we are really governing, especially, technology like AI that really require a level of governance, a level of control to make sure that, nothing goes wrong.
What is going to be future? You have seen and you have witnessed and you have experienced the technology evolution all these years, working with different professionals and working on different projects. So, how the future technology is going to be and uh, how humans are going to make use of it, and do they are they going to be completely dependent on it, or how, looking at the present situation and present usage, technology usage, you're observing
Yep.
almost all industries are using information technology industry today. So all industries are, it become a mandatory thing. So you saw the evolution, you're seeing the present, and what is going to be the future.
Yeah. So it is already, people are afraid that we're going to be dependent on technology, but it's already the case. We are already dependent on technology today. This phone is an extension of my brain. Without this phone, I am lost. Without this phone, there's so many things I don't know. Maybe the technology will change, and instead of having a phone, I will have something in my head or some, cool augmented reality glasses like the latest from Meta. I don't know how the technology will look like, but it's just going to be the same as today, but more, right? So we're gonna have still some technology, some brain extension that is making us more capable, augmented. And then we're gonna have the robotic side, right? So there's already some projection that we will have hundreds of millions of robots around us that will basically live with us. The price of a robot is projected to be the same price as a car. So you will buy a robot like you are buying a car, and then that robot will be in your house and will help you, will make your life better. Will interact with you, will do the dishes, I don't know, clean, do all the things that you don't want to do. And by the way, the same in the factories, the same in the office. So we are moving towards a world where technology is going to be more and more embedded inside human as an augmentation of the human body, as an augmentation of mankind altogether. Okay, so for me, it's all positive. The only difference that I see between today and tomorrow is what I would call the rate of change, meaning everything is accelerating. Before we had a software release once a year, then twice a year, and now we get software release every day. Maybe in 20 years, we'll get software release every minute.
Humans are going to lose their value by giving a lot of importance to artificial machines, artificial intelligence?
Yeah, so there's a big debate about that, right? Some people are saying that we will become useless, that we will not have anything to do anymore, that we're gonna have a universal income, and that we are going to lose purpose. the life will be boring for us because we'll have nothing to do. So this is a pessimistic or a dystopian view of the world. There's also many people who consider that, instead of having to go to work to do all the crazy, boring stuff that hundreds of millions of people are still doing today, we will be using our brain to do what technology is not really able to do, which is, to innovate, to challenge, to disrupt, to manage other human. So there's still a number of things that technology are not very good at doing. And although we have a lot of very smart AI around us, you would be amazed that those smart AI cannot do very basic stuff that human can do very well. Okay, so there's a number of paradox here around how smart the AI is, but at the same time, how stupid it is in some area where humans are really good at. So yeah, I think humans will still have a place, and I am a very optimistic guy, so I would like to have a robot around my house to take care of my garden and to clean up the house and do all the stuff that I don't want to do. For me, this is good news.
What kind of governance actually helps to actually manage and maintain the proper society when it comes to AI?
What kind of governance or government?
Yeah, governance. What kind of rules and rules and regulations, no matter
Yeah,
which
so this
country
is
they are?
yeah, so we have a number of examples of, if you take Europe, Europe has been regulating first and is now struggling to innovate. And then you have, let's say, China or US, they are now innovating and they will regulate later. So this is a kind of chicken and egg type of situation. Um, Obviously, we want to govern technology, and we have some concern around risk and some ethical issue and all of that. But at the same time, um, we have to give opportunity for people to try things, for people to innovate. Because if we only focus on, strong regulation, strong governance, data protection, privacy, so all the things that will basically lock the innovation, we will, and this is my point of view, we will end up in the same situation as Europe, which is they have the money, they have the brain, but they are not able to innovate because everything is regulated.
Okay. So, what do you think that these super, uh, you know, uh, super appreciated technology today, that humans are working on? So, what is your take on it?
What's my take on what? Can you repeat that?
The advanced technology that is being, uh, created today.
Yeah, so I think I have already touched on that, but um, there's always some innovation that people are a bit concerned or afraid of. This is probably our generation are seeing all those new technology, and we are concerned about the effect that it could have on human, the effect it could have on the planet, and are seeing it in a very pessimistic way and are concerned about all the risk. Um, I think that the new generation will probably take all those technology for granted, and they will not have the fear that we have. So it's great to see, for example, quantum computing. If we are able to come up with quantum computer, some people are really concerned that all the security around the world will instantly disappear. All the password will be cracked. It will be the end of the world. But at the same time, this will unlock so much compute power that we're going to have so much innovation. We're going to be able to find so many new drugs, right? So for me, again, either you see the glass half full or you see it half empty. It's a choice.
So what's the best compliment that you got when you become an entrepreneur?
Um, I I I don't think I got some. I don't think I got some compliment based on what I do. I think I'm getting compliment based on who I am, which is two different things. So I typically get some compliment around who I am. And frankly, whether I am an entrepreneur or I am an employee or I'm doing whatever, I don't think that I'm getting compliment based on that. I think I'm getting compliment based on, what I have become as an individual. So this is really important for people to understand, right? Is you are you have a certain image that you are projecting to people, and this is what people will see and what they will like or don't like, what they will appreciate, and this is what will trigger uh, people to like you, to like what you say, what you do, who you are. I think this is more like that you should see it.
Great. So at last, what do you say about you and your work to my audience for listening to this conversation from anywhere on this planet?
Yeah, so I don't really know what type of audience that you have here. So I'm going to basically send a message to everyone, right? So number of things that are important if you have to remember, only two or three things here. Uh, one, uh, I think that it's very easy to be afraid. It's very easy to see all the negative side of what's happening in life around you, and I think that's a mistake, right? The mistake of going towards the fear side, uh, or the dark side, if you like Star Wars. It's not good. It's driving the wrong behavior, and being managed by fear is never positive. Point number two, whatever you do, remember, don't fall in love with technology. That's a mistake. It will blind you. You will miss all the key important things that are not technology related. Okay. And then the third is maybe a personal feedback, right? The reason why I was able to achieve what I have achieved in my life is only because of discipline and consistency. And if you don't have that, you will never get anything done.
So it's a great statement, Oliver. And at last, as a business leader, as a person who is into technology, what's your observation about my work? Have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube?
Feedback about you. Whoa. I think that it's great. It's great to have the energy and the discipline and the consistency, right, of doing something that is going to be built uh, in an incremental way. Okay. So you start, and then by having this consistency, by having this discipline of producing podcast in your case, but it could be anything else for the audience. You are going to see that you're gonna grow your followers, you're gonna grow your audience, you're gonna grow your personal brand, and this will basically compound over time, and this will yield to something good, right? So that's why I said yes, and I wanted to spend a bit of time with you. It's because I want to help. I want people to watch your show, and hopefully, you will keep growing and growing until you reach your goal. So I think what you are doing is great, and you gotta keep doing it for a long time.
It's, it's so kind of you, Oliver. So And I have done masters in software engineering, also bachelors in computer science and engineering. Right now, I'm working as a cloud DevOps engineer for a London company remotely from India. That's my full-time role. Apart from that, I'm interviewing experts like you who are already in the industry from long time, who are from different parts of the world, not only technology, business leaders. I'm trying to interview police officers, doctors, psychologists, marine biology experts, environmental scientists, like trying to interview highly qualified and highly educated people who belongs to completely different places in the world. So how this experience and this exposure is going to contribute to my development or for my career?
Yeah, so I think this is, I mean, this is for everyone, right? Exposure is king. So the more you are being exposed to different things, that's why traveling is so important. Talking to many different people is so important because your world will grow. Your comfort zone will grow. You will have a much better understanding of the world, a much better understanding of what exists out there. And this is key for improvement, right? If you don't see, you cannot basically integrate. So for me, everything you can do, talking to your audience here, to increase the amount of exposure that you have to the outside world, uh, the better it will be for you. Otherwise, you're going to keep doing the same stuff in your little box for all your life, and you will miss a lot of things that is happening in the world.
Great. Can I put this podcast interview in my YouTube channel and my
Yeah,
in
of
my
course.
channels with your permission?
Yes, of course.
So, do you, I mean, will you share your online presence to my audience so that they can follow you and learn from you?
Sure. We will do. I'm okay. I'm supportive of everything you're gonna do with that content, and then if you want me to support, I will support as well. No problem.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It's an honor for me to interview you and present you through my channel and let my audience know about what you're doing and how you're contributing to the humanity and to different businesses with uh, with the experience and with the problem solving ability that you have.
Cool. So I'll send you the recording. I give you a link so you can download it, and then you can edit and do what you want.
Sure, sure, sure. I'll do that.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Take
Bye
care,
bye.
sir.
I gotta go. Bye bye.
Bye.